we are talking about behavior. And the reason why this is a doozy is because in the first video in this series of ABC, Appearance, Behavior, and Communication, I spoke about appearance. And the thing about appearance is that while it might be simple and innocent and innocuous enough to say, people care about the way they look and their image and their self image, and they care about it for a number of reasons, I understand that these are contentious matters. And I think they're contentious matters because people are very aware. I guess, let me put it like this, and that's to say, I think most people are socially and emotionally aware enough to know generally when and maybe not how, but they generally know when they're being judged. And that can be anything from condescended to certain looks, to certain behaviors, aggression, judgments. And that's what we're talking about here is judgments. And people resist judgments. People resent and resist being ranked. And they often resent, anything from social order to who the boss is to you name it, right? So these are just human matters and human issues. And at the heart of it is behavior. And behavior is a doozy as well, is because it inevitably communicates more than appearance, or you could say even communication, or that perhaps action or behavior or the lack thereof, or the deferral of, or the laziness towards, or the attitudes and the words used to indicate those attitudes tell you what they really mean. So we're going to get into this. Why this stuff is so contentious in the first place is it not just about disputes of taste, tasting, and preference when it comes to appearance and behavior and communication, because everyone likes to argue over, anything from what words you can or can't use to how one should appear or behave, what's appropriate for an individual, a man, a woman. Before long, if you pay heed to everyone and everything, you're cut into a million different directions, right? And then these are questions of self-design and self-direction, or also correction. That's what, okay, this is what back to brand, logo, image, that's what these things are. They're instantaneous communications that carry a reputation and an expectation and a standard that's low, sort by price, right? No one cares about, or up high. But regardless, it's all around the same kind of merit or rank or order or assumption when it comes to people's judgments and you could say kind of triangulated social emotional connections and approximations to say, here's something we do or don't value, here's what we want, here's what we don't want, right? It's all a selective process, and this gets to what I wouldn't call a reveal, but it's definitely one of the most profound things I can say about both behavior, appearance, and just communication. The truth comes out in the wash, and it's generally said that you can fool people for a little bit, but not forever, or you can fool people once, but not twice. Maybe if they're dumb thrice, maybe four, five, six. Maybe you can do it over and over. Maybe you can just be a hidden predator too, right? That's a very real consideration that humanity and all animals have been dealing with for a long time. So our concern with appearance and image and behavior are matters of survival and discerning and perishing. Two, behaviors communicate more than words, which is the Emerson quotation I just mentioned. But then there's number three, behavior and appearance inevitably communicate health, personality, motives, intention, mood, security, insecurity. Now, in terms of intention and motives, like I said, you never know what someone's long game is. This is House of Cards or political intrigue, or what do you call it, corporate America, or what's that other corporate structure? Game of Thrones. That's what it is. It is Game of Thrones territory, right? So it's true, though. And same thing with security or insecurity. And that's why the most attractive thing in the world is a secure person, is a happy person, is an attractive and beautiful person, a powerful person. There's a reason why so much of, even I would say all marketing, but at least American marketing focuses on things like sex appeal, attraction, beauty, youth, what you're capable of, so it's not just a baseline of expected behavior, it's noticing what people do or don't. And then I guess, to best illustrate, I'll bring up marketer Rory Sutherland from famous Ogilvy's Advertising when he says something to the effect of, you won't get fired for the logical idea that fails, but you will get fired for the creative idea that fails. He illustrates the point of how people can how people, corporations, and the value systems of the market generally value such things, and that's that we expect repetition of logical steps of what was proven to work yesterday, what produced numbers yesterday, whatever it was. We expect it to work ad infinitum. But remember, guys, ladies and gentlemen, we'll kick it back to the fashion channels here for ancient wisdom, that fashion is a response to the environment. And it was Seneca who said, we don't think according to reason, but fashion. Right? So what worked yesterday doesn't always work tomorrow. We have to learn to adapt. We have to learn to change and adjust, and the market's no different. And then falsely inflating or changing values, and even falsely devaluing, even like haggling is an imaginary devaluing or reevaluating, because it's someone saying, I think something should be more or less. I'm not trying to get lost in the weeds here, but it came out in the wash, and that's to point to how behaviors illustrate certain mindsets and perspectives. The idea that I can change a price because I assume something, but I like to say I'm a fan of paying the price, whether that's for image consulting, whether that's school, whether that's a bad decision. Because how else does one learn? It's pain, experience, and the fashion, right? Learning to change your fashion with the seasons was a reaction to going, you know what? We don't dress the same every day of the year, because you can't. You'll die if you do that, usually to exposure, right? So these are the kinds of things that we're constantly discerning, communicating, and arguing about. It's part of the process, and it's actually perfectly healthy. What's unhealthy is not talking about it. What's unhealthy is repressing it and not dealing with it. Back to what I was saying earlier about rank and order and systems, is that the reality is within human systems, we have rank evaluations and judgments for things we do or don't like, or things we do or don't accept. And people resist these things sternly, whether it's fair or not, whether the judgments are fair or not. All this stuff is secondary to what I'm getting at and saying, again, if you're navigating these things, why shoot yourself in the foot? Why make it harder for yourself? Why be so inattentive and sloppy when it costs you so much? And so that's what the focus is here. Prevent failure, gain success. You can readjust your goals. Uh, can you fool yourself about getting or not getting what you wanted? Where you really stand with other things and people. Ranked on a scale of 1 to 10, ranked on a value system, ranked on any number of things in any number of ways, in the ways that we as individuals and collectives judge and value each other, because sometimes they line up, right? Individual and collective values. At some point they do align, and these are the arguments we have. And you don't even know what the cost is if these things are new to you, or if you're just now beginning to see bigger pictures, or if you're beginning to understand personally how these things might apply. This is the process by which culture and people approximate things. So from marketer to audience, from art to audience, flower to bee, turns out it matters if you're communicating the right symbols and the right message, and your behavior is a big part of that. Kind of either to sidestep it or defend it where necessary, but now I digress. The point is us trying to say, if you're my audience, I love you. And if you're a non-believer, who cares? Shun the non-believers. So remember, audience, remember everyone else, shun the non-believers. Don't put up with low standards. And if no one else is embodying what you want to see, then you better learn to take care and do it yourself. So thanks for listening. Have a great day. And there's the thing about people and value. I said, yes, marketing, sales, all these things, image consulting, art, it's all about laws and dividing lines, right? Behaviors, appearances, communications, people do and don't want. Things that are either okay, enjoyable, preferable, illegal, right? We go on down the list. So with these dividing lines, it really is matters of, it is okay to say, shun the non-believers. Hey, you like Pepsi, you like Coke. Hey, you like these books, you don't. Hey, I do, you don't, they might, right? It's too much to sort through. No one's concerned, no marketer or consumer is concerned necessarily with what everyone else is doing, except when that's the bandwagon or the selling perspective or the hook, you could say, right? Be a part of some attractive group, which has long been a part of American marketing and sales. But it's also that has to do with our identity and the way we see ourselves. And this is why I say self-image is everything, just like image is everything.
Shun the non-believer! Shun! Shun!